afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my good buddy Jason. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, not bad, man. Excited for the playoffs to continue.
Yeah,
After what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, usually like this past weekend and then this coming weekend is the most exciting, time of the year.
Yeah, I like how you get the double days of the
double bubble, as I call it.
Yeah, you get the two games on two different days, which fills up your Saturday afternoon and night, and then you get the Sunday early one, and this will. Well, this.
Yeah,
no, next
Saturday
week,
play Saturday afternoon's the first game.
Yeah, next week will be what?
It's both on Sunday.
Yeah, and what is it like? Is it a 1 o'clock and then a 4:40 again, or how's that?
No, it's like a 3:30 or 4, and then a 7.
Yeah, that's right.
I
hate
this,
that.
with the two games on the weekend on each day, it sure is fun because there's nothing else really going on at this time of the year.
Yeah, like on Saturday, I like to go. Like me and Candace will go out and do some stuff early, and then early in the afternoon, like we went out to like an early dinner, and then got back to watch the Colts game, and then you have like football for the rest of your day and evening.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, before we get rolling, don't forget to check out our social media stuff: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ASC Pods. Find our entire catalog on B Plus Player Radio. Find them on Twitter at B Plus Radio. And visit our sponsors over at 2 Sweet Magazine. Find them on Twitter at 2TOO Sweet Mag. All right, let's get her started. The Colts going into Houston and beating the Texans 21-7.
Yeah, this game really never, like the Colts never felt like they were in danger of losing this game. It felt really weird, like almost like the Colts felt like the division winning home team in this and not the Texans.
Yeah, and to me the score was never like indicative of how the game looked.
No, this game could have ended up being like 40-7, there really wasn't like any threat from Houston.
No, I agree with you. It was just they looked flat as they always do in the postseason, not to kick them while they're down.
It's almost I kind of want to just go back to saying that it's Bill O'Brien. Like I just don't think he's a big game coach. He doesn't. His team just never looks ready to go when they have to be.
And the only game they ever won in the postseason was against the Raiders, and it was their third-string quarterback.
Yeah, see, it's not. That's the year with all the injuries, right? Carr and all them went down.
Yep.
Was that year? Yeah. So it's just
Well, and the other thing I noticed. The Colts, they would get the Texans would get like a first down. You're down 3 scores, and you just made a first down, and you're like gyrating and getting all excited for first down. It's like, dude, you better handle your business as opposed to getting excited over one first down.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's become the culture of the NFL.
Yeah,
where
I hate that.
Single player. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like single player achievements have become
like, hey, look at me,
more important than what's up on the scoreboard.
Yep.
Like you'll get teams that a guy will run a touchdown in, and it could be a good run, say a 35-40 yard touchdown run, but his team's losing like 42-10, and he'll celebrate like he literally just won the football game.
Yeah, or they'll all do like a choreographed dance together.
Yeah, it's a very the culture like is going to. Oh, sorry, let me turn my alerts off. The culture is becoming very I don't like a little bit too braggadocious. Yep. I guess would be
Over
a good word.
Top.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you, man, the Colts are dangerous.
They're hot, and the team that can turn that switch this time of year is usually one of the teams that'll end up playing in February, and I don't know what's going to happen with the Colts. I don't think they're going to keep going, but if they do, it would not surprise me because they're a well-coached team. They have one of the best like camaraderie type of teams, if you know what I'm getting
Yes.
at. Like they seem to be a well put together, like they mesh very well as a football team, and that's a big part of winning in the playoffs, and they seem to be tooled to do it.
Plus, they build a great line around Luck where he barely gets touched anymore.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can look at the stat sheet, and like when Luck does, like you just said, he doesn't get touched. And also look at Marlon Mack's performance on Saturday. He set the Colts single game playoff record for rushing yards with 148.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a good player, but I think what you're getting out of him is increased by the performance of their offensive line.
I agree. All right, let's keep it moving. Saturday night, we had the Cowboys pulling off the upset at home and beating Seattle 24-22.
I don't call this an upset because, to me, it's they were two really well matched teams, and Dallas being at home will, I think, give them an advantage because they've definitely played better football there this year. I will say this, and I was saying it Saturday. I was talking to you a little bit, and this game to me may have been Pete Carroll's worst coaching performance in his NFL career. Yeah. I thought his coaching in this game was horrible. There was some calls in there, and some of the things like they almost never had any urgency going through the game.
When I was watching this game, I'm like, why aren't they doing play action more? Because every time they would run play action, it seems like they would get a big chunk.
Yeah, and Russell Wilson's the kind of quarterback that you want to do that. You boot him, you kind of misdirect the defense and you get Wilson rolling the other way. And then they have receivers that can catch the ball. Like Doug Baldwin had a great catch in this game. They have a decent team. They just never really showed up really well in this game to me. Like
I think that's why I call it an upset, just because like Russell Wilson, he's the Super Bowl champion. You think, big game type of performances from him,
Yeah, I mean, he is a Super Bowl champ, but you remember what happened to him the last time he was in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
He threw the game to the Patriots. That was another a poor coaching call by Pete Carroll, and I think that it's starting maybe to become a trend with him because it seems like he gets out-coached. And if you get out-coached by Jason Garrett, that's pretty bad.
Lance is bringing it up in the chat, and I agree with him. He was talking about Hearns, how he felt so bad for him.
Oh yeah, that was very like I didn't really see it again.
I went and looked it up just because I wanted to see what like the issue was.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard Joe Buck freak out like that on live TV.
Yeah, where they were like, we're not showing the replay, and I was like, okay.
They were doing, I guess, like checking on him, or they showed the replay in the stadium, and they went to commercial. You can hear him go, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that's.
But basically, he just like snapped his ankle.
Yeah, he's obviously not playing again in this playoffs, but
no, that sucks because it looked nasty. But I will give credit where credit is due. Dak Prescott and those guys made the big throws and the big plays when they absolutely had to.
Yeah, they played a good playoff game, and that's what they've lacked, I think, over the last, I almost want to say 20 years.
Yeah,
like Dallas.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was done.
No, the other thing I was going to say, it makes me wonder if Janikowski doesn't get hurt, is it a different game?
Yeah, you make a really good point there because he just, I guess it was his hamstring. He kicked that long field goal. The ball didn't come out too well, and then he just immediately grabbed at like the back of his hamstring. And that it's a good point too that not having a kicker does change the landscape of the game.
Well, apparently their punter is like a former rugby guy, and they could have done a drop kick, but I guess they decided against it.
Yeah, here's my other big problem. The onside kick that wasn't an onside kick.
Yeah, it was like a pooch punt.
Yeah, I don't understand what Pete Carroll was doing there. I don't care what kicker that is. You put that ball on a tee and you have him onside kick because you don't know what kind of bounce the ball can take.
Right, and
You
they were
know?
saying that he knew how to do an onside kick because he would do them with Janikowski in practice.
Yeah, see, so to me, it's just more of
Bad
Pete
coaching.
Carroll's bad coaching, and I don't know what's going to happen with Seattle going forward. I mean, they still have a pretty good team. Well, they have a decent team, I'll say, not pretty good. They had a good run this season, but they
They
showed that.
over did their projections, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's rough, man. When after you win a Super Bowl like they did, and then they have that bad call by not running the ball with Marshawn Lynch, and
Yeah,
then
because
now,
that's like a gut wrenching loss.
yeah, they're we'll see what happens with them going forward,
Yeah,
but they'll
especially
have plenty of time.
Rob just brought up what's going to happen with Earl Thomas because he'll can go wherever he wants, and Lance is saying. See, I didn't hear this. Lance said that Hearns broke 2 bones in his leg and dislocated his ankle.
Yeah, that's a nasty injury, man. I saw he already got surgery and everything. Like they took him right to surgery not long after the game.
Oh wow, well that's pretty bad then.
Yeah, you have to with that dislocation. They have to get in there quick.
All right, moving on. We have the Chargers hanging on and beating Baltimore 23-17.
This was another game that I think if you really look at it, the score wasn't very in line with the way the game went. Yeah, indicative of how the game went. This is another game. I think Harbaugh should be ashamed of his coaching performance. I honestly, I'm going to put it like this to you. I know that they want Lamar Jackson to be the future there. He's 100% their guy going forward. But when you're in a sudden death situation,
I think
at halftime there, Joe Flacco should have come into that game.
I'll tell you this, and I agree with you. It almost feels like they didn't want Flacco to come in and save the day and win the game and then cause a controversy.
Exactly. That's 100%. Exactly what I think is what went on with in Harbaugh's head on Saturday.
Yeah, they were just being stubborn.
Yeah, it was just a bad performance, man, by the Ravens. Like they never felt like they were like in sync or got anything rolling until it was
very
over.
Sloppy.
Yeah, and the Chargers didn't really play a good football game either. It was not a very good game leading into the final one on Sunday.
I'll say this: they played, I'll say, a good 3 quarters, and then it felt like they took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Because I like the Chargers because, my God, they have, like, every receiver, it seems like, is huge.
Yeah, if they can catch that lightning in a bottle, they're a team that I think could go forward and be dangerous in the playoffs. I look, I'm gonna go. I'm a big person, like a big like Phillip Rivers detractor, yep. I guess you would say. And I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think they win this week, to be honest. Because they're playing with the Patriots, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because can the Patriots kind of finagle away because they've been really struggling on an offense.
Yeah, they have, but I just like when I think about the Patriots in the playoffs.
When postseason comes, they just turn that switch.
The thing with me is with the playoffs, I'm a big proponent of coaching battle. The coaches win the games in the playoffs, and I don't know if I can never Lynn, right? Is his name? The coach of the Chargers, head coach. I can't ever remember his name.
I can't remember his name. I know his face, but not his name.
Yeah. I just can't believe that like a first time big game coach is going to beat Belichick when it comes down to the X's and O's. Yeah, in Foxborough. I honestly, I have to say that the
I'll
Chargers.
say this: the one thing that surprised me, they have the Patriots playing at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, I kind of know why.
Well, because usually they get like the Saturday night game.
Yeah, I kind of. Well, I think the reason for that is because of the West Coast team. They want
okay,
because you only have one West team left at home, and that's why they want the Rams playing that late game. And
real quick,
it's also a good primetime game.
If I was the Chargers, I would have just stayed on the East Coast.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. I think they should go up there. Hey, this game could be played in snow too. There's a good possibility. My whole thing
is, flying from Baltimore back is like a 5.5, 6 hour flight, and then having to do it again, later on in the week. That's draining.
Yeah, I think they should have found something like there's facilities up there. Like you can go to like Boston College would let them, use. They would you pay them. You pay them and you use their football facilities.
Because I think that jet lag, West Coast team coming to the East Coast playing an early game, that's a thing.
It really is. It really is a thing. And they say, oh, they'll get there Friday and they'll get acclimated to it. Your body really doesn't get acclimated to it. They're basically playing a 10 o'clock game.
It takes you like 2 days.
Yeah, and with the weather too, what they're going to see probably Sunday, because our future forecast in this area and up the East Coast is showing that there might be a snowstorm. So
yeah,
they could be playing in weather that those guys don't know anything about,
That's
especially
true,
Rivers.
From, Cali, they don't usually have that.
Yeah, and Rivers and those guys, they've been there for a long time. He doesn't know cold weather, because if you figure he's going to Denver, obviously, but he's never really performed well there, and he's going to where else? Oakland is always good weather for him. And who's the other team? Kansas City could be.
He played the Pats in the AFC title game a while back. There.
And what happened?
They lost.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I think we should probably wait to talk about these games, though. I think we kind of.
It's good.
Sorry,
all right,
we're bouncing around.
Last, but certainly not least, to end the weekend on a high note, well, game-wise, exciting-wise, the Eagles beat the Bears 16-15.
Yeah, this was, in my opinion, and Lance and all those guys can say yes or no. This was the best game of the weekend. It was like a boxing match. It was like punch for punch, round to round. This was like a 15-round fight.
It reminded me of the old 90s NFC, rock'em sock'em kind of game.
Yeah, it really was. To me, it felt like almost like if you put the 92 Eagles up against the 85 Bears. It was very like defense versus defense, which is crazy to be saying right now about the Eagles. Absolutely crazy. And hey, look, there's a couple things I want to point out about this game. The MVP of this football game to me was Jason Peters.
Yep.
I know Nick Foles threw the pass and everything. Khalil Mack got no pressure in this game. He was almost invisible. He stopped. He had a couple big tackles in the running game, good plays, but getting driven off the ball by Peters and then Lane Johnson on the other side when he would flip, both of those guys handled Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack had probably one of his, I would say, quietest games of his career on Sunday, and it shocked me.
Yeah, the one guy that really played well for them was the tackle in the middle.
Yeah, Akeem Hicks.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, they really did not pressure Foles a lot, and when they did pressure Foles with what's his name, Fangio, when they brought that blitz on 4th and goal, the Eagles drew up the perfect play to get Foles out of the pocket and hit Tate for the touchdown, game-winning touchdown.
He pulled Patrick Mahomes and sidearmed it.
Yep, it was the perfect throw, and he threw it to one of the most sure-handed guys, maybe in the NFL, because Tate is actually a very sure-handed. I was
listening to the radio yesterday on the way, doing stuff, And Tate said he cut off his route because if he would have ran the exact route that they had planned, he would have never caught it. He caught the DB peeking, and he turned the other way and went to the edge.
Yeah. Hey, Dean just brought something up in the chat. He said, "What's the odds on the ball hitting the post and crossbar?" That's Philadelphia Eagles and Nick Foles odds right there.
That's like 1,000,000 to 1.
There's nothing I can't explain how the Eagles keep getting these bounces and these and they execute too. I'm not gonna say it's all luck or anything because when the Eagles need a big play, they make the big play, just like Foles to him. The problem I have is these people, especially these Bears fans, which to me are disgraceful, sending death threats.
Themselves.
Yeah, if you're a sports fan and you wish harm or you take time out of your life to threaten a professional football player, you're a low life. The quality of your life has to be bad because there is no excuse for threatening a man's life or his family's life. And it turns out the guy didn't even miss the field goal; it was blocked. Like if the end result of that kick was changed by Trayvon Hester's hand. So.
Yeah, he literally just got 3 fingertips on it.
Yeah, he got enough of it to turn the football. If you watch the kick's coming out pretty clean. When it gets to the line, it turns. It gets a different kind of rotation on it, and that rotation just pulls the ball. And it pulled it right to the post, and then the post off the crossbar, and then out. And then if you watch...
Yeah.
The best thing that I saw is if you watch the replay, the Bears mascot just falls over like he died.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
it's the curse of Robbie Gould, Rob.
Yeah. But man, I feel so bad for Parky, man. Like that guy, he's the postmaster. Like he kicked the postmaster. Sounds like he's delivering mail because I think in England isn't that what they call? Dean might be able to tell us. Don't they call a mailman a postmaster or whatever in England? I don't know. Or the postmaster might be like the guy who's like the head of the mail at the post. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going way off there, but
you're fine.
Yeah, man, but it's like that Foles magic is just like that guy just wins football games. And look, he had a mediocre performance earlier in this game. He threw 2 interceptions that should not have been thrown. Like that one interception in the end zone was just a terrible read by him.
Yep.
And then the other interception, if he throws it on the other arm to Smallwood, it's not picked off by Roquan Smith. Because remember, I messaged you right away and pointed that out. I said if he throws that to the other arm, that's not a turnover.
I'll tell you this, though. The Bears fans should not be angry because they have a very bright future.
They have something special coming in Chicago. You're absolutely right. I think they could use a receiver. That's what I think they really need. They need a receiver. I also think they might want to try to maybe move maybe like Tariq Cohen and try to get a power back, or if you can run 3 backs, they need some kind of back that can kind of beat up on a defense other than just run it outside and everything. You know what I mean?
That's another. You bring up an amazing point. They did not use Tariq Cohen in a good way.
Yeah, it felt like they. We've seen a lot of Bears football this year. They've been a team that have been in a spotlight because they're 12-4.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of them. I don't know if Matt Nagy game planned this the way he's game planned all year. It almost looked like he went very conservative.
Like he got tight, yeah.
Yeah. It was a very weird kind of, and I think a lot of that has to do with like experience. Like I think sometimes, and that's why I'll point out Doug Peterson doesn't do this. I think sometimes guys get in the playoffs and they don't think that you can run like trick type of plays and stuff and win. And Doug Peterson has proven that that's not true.
Well,
it's not true at all.
I was going to say what I think he does is he's going to unload both barrels, give you everything.
Yeah, Doug Peterson is definitely that. Doug Peterson is like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. He's going to pull out his pistol and fire it at a tank rolling at him. If you've ever seen that movie, you'll get the reference. He's firing every bullet he has until he's dead. Until the Eagles are dead and their season's over, Peterson is going to keep unloading. And I love it because that kind of aggressiveness can catch other teams off guard and lead to big plays. Like if you go back to last year and you watch, there was a little bit of a turning point in that Eagles game where if the Vikings get a stop, they get the ball back, it can become a game. They bust out a flea flicker and it works, you know?
Yeah.
Then you have the Philly special. By the way, I got to point something out. And I said this to you, I think, twice already. I still think the Eagles converted that 2-point conversion at the end of the game on Sunday.
I do too, but there was no definitive angle in the replay you could see to overturn it.
They say that, but if you watch the one angle, the Chicago Bear is standing directly on the goal line with his chest right on the goal line, looking right at the pylon. When they show the one replay, the ball is right in the middle of his chest, which if you do any kind of geometry and everything, you can tell that if the ball is right there on his body, the ball had to break the goal line. But, you know,
it just reminded me of one other thing in this game that was a big thing that we didn't talk about. The fumble in the first half that wasn't recovered by anyone.
Yeah, that was weird, man. Like that's a thing where I think the Eagles need to put some more emphasis on continuing the play, because if they pick that ball
always,
up,
no matter what, if you see the ball on the ground, dive on it.
Yeah. No, I agree with what Lance
that
said.
was one of the weirdest rules I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's just if somebody jumps on that ball, it's their ball. And that actually would have saved the Eagles 3 points if they would have continued playing. Also, a lot of that blame goes on the ref too for blowing the whistle, calling it incomplete, and then he walked over and picked the ball up. He should have just let the ball sit there for as long as he could.
Yeah.
He kind of did, like it was about 6, maybe 7 seconds later, but I still think that they should have waited a little longer, and maybe that ref shouldn't have said incomplete. He should have just let the play continue.
Yeah.
Because there's replay. There's replay for that. And it was inside of 2 minutes, so they get what I call a natural look, meaning that it's organic, like it just comes from the rule book.
Yeah. All right. We're going to make our picks. Last week we didn't do so hot.
No. We did. Well, one of the games, wink, wink. I kind of always do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm not mentioning it. It's like I'm not. It's the game that shall not be mentioned.
It's funny because Dino mentioned that in the chat.
No. I didn't see anything.
All right.
He put it on my Facebook too, and I didn't see anything.
All right, let's keep it going. First, to start off the weekend, we have the Colts traveling to Kansas City.
Wait. Can you run through what we picked? Because I think you beat me, and you had a game I didn't have.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You were 0-4, and I was 1-3.
I was 0-4?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And you had the Chargers, right? Ooh, what a terrible week.
Oh, yeah, real quick. Remind you.
Yeah, I see.
Thank you, Rob. Thoughts on the Matt LaFleur hire?
I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. I think...
Me either.
I think with these teams, and it's also one other thing. I saw the Broncos. They said the Broncos are down to Fangio and Munchak as their two head coaching candidates. I don't like either. I don't like it, man. Like, I think teams need to start looking outside of the box. They need to stop being stuck in 1995 NFL, and they need to start looking. The two candidates that I really like, 3 actually. I really like Chris Richard from the Cowboys, and I really like the 2 offensive guys, the younger guys from the Rams, Taylor, and I can't ever remember the other guy's name. I think they're 3 guys that if they're not head coaches next year in the NFL, that teams need to really try to hire them to be like offensive coordinator or something so they can keep them within their system because they're future head coaches. Another kid I really like, and you're going to start hearing more about him probably in a year or two, is Gary Kubiak's son. I think it's Clint Kubiak, or Cliff Clint, I think is his name. Keep an eye on him because I think he's going to be a future offensive coordinator, and then he's going to be a future head coach. 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years, actually, he's going to be a head coach in the league.
The rumor I read was if Fangio got the job, that they wanted to bring Kubiak down to call plays.
Yeah, that would be smart. But I think Denver needs to get away from having a defensive guy as their head coach. I think they need to hire a upstart kind of mind.
Rob is saying that no good candidate wants to work with Elway.
I think he's 100% right. I agree with it.
He's very
I think
stubborn.
Elway is a very they might not get this, but Elway is a very Ron Hextall type of GM where he wants to control everything from top to bottom. And that's terrible. Like, you have to have another voice in your
where he basically wants to have his hands on everything.
He's very Jerry Jones like.
And and to answer your question, Rob, I'm not a fan of Matt LaFleur because he was the Titans offensive coordinator and their offense was terrible.
Yeah, I'll give him a little pass on that because I think their offensive line was bad and they could never keep Mariota healthy. But I still agree with you. I just don't think I don't think he's going to be a very good offensive coordinator. I mean, a good head coach. I'm sorry, head coach.
It'll be interesting with Rodgers because he's a very hands-on type guy too.
Yeah, I mean, look. LaFleur was fired by the Rams and then went to Tennessee and didn't do any better. He was the quarterback's coach in Notre Dame in 2014, and I did not like, what he brought to that program either, really. So we'll see, man. I mean, I've been wrong before. Apparently, I was wrong 4 times this week in playoffs.
All right. Let's get started. We have opening the weekend. Like I said, the Colts traveling to Kansas City.
Listen, man, if you're a betting man in this chat, and I don't give advice often, if you're a betting man, anybody, Dean, I don't know if you guys bet, Lance, bet the over. Because I have a feeling that we might be looking at like a 41-35 type of game, and I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game. I think they're gonna be hard to beat there, and I don't know if the Colts have that package to beat them, but I think it's gonna be a good game. I think somebody like Tyreek Hill or something is going to make a big play to win this football game, and that's why I think the Chiefs win. I think they have like 1 or 2 more weapons with Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, and that's why they're going to end up winning. But it's going to be a good, close, high-scoring game. Exciting.
I'm taking the Colts because they seem to really be on a roll right now, and you know how hard it is when you're a 1 seed. You're kind of off for 2 or 3 weeks. And the other reason is the Chiefs haven't won a playoff game at home since Joe Montana was there.
Hey, that's also true, but
it's a flip a coin type game. But I'm gonna go with the Colts. All right. Next we have the Cowboys going out to L.A. to play the Rams.
Listen. I don't know if I said this to you, but I know I said it to somebody. I think it was you. The Cowboys are a team that are built to beat the Rams. They're the kind of team that's put together well enough to keep the ball out of Goff's hands, and when Goff has the ball, to rush him, to put pressure on him, and the Cowboys are a very good tackling team. And if we saw anything with that Eagles game against the Rams, the Eagles tackled well, and they beat the Rams because of it.
And they frustrated them because they couldn't get big chunk plays. They just let them. They if you're gonna have to go long drives, excuse me, and you're gonna have to get 8, 9, 10 yards at a clip, not 25 or 30.
Yep. With that being said, I'm taking the Rams. I still think they're the better team, but I think on paper, which is the only way we can look at this game right now because it hasn't been played, on paper, I think they have just a little bit more right now than Dallas. And Dallas's run, I think, is going to come to an end soon, and it's going to come to an end on the road, which is where I think they're going to have their bigger problems, because if you go back, remember what the Colts did to them, and that's what I think is going to happen to them. It's going to the Rams are also a team that can kill Dak Prescott, and we know when you put pressure on Dak Prescott, I almost called him Prescott, on Dak Prescott, that's how you beat him. And those guys with Aaron Donald and those guys up front, they're going to put pressure on Prescott. And If I had to take a guess at how this game goes, I think Dak turns it over 2 times in the second half, and that's what ends up running the Cowboys out of this football game.
I agree with everything you just said, but I'm taking the Cowboys.
Another Cowboys pick. Okay.
I don't like the way the Rams have played the last month.
Yeah, that's understandable, but you got to remember, we didn't like the way the Eagles played a month and 3 weeks going into the playoffs last year. So keep that in mind.
That's very true. I think they might make 1 or 2 more plays than the Rams.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Now we get to Sunday. We have the Chargers traveling to Foxborough.
Phillip Rivers road game playoffs. In the Foxborough, I'm taking the Patriots.
That's as easiest way you could say it.
Anthony Lynn, by the way, I believe is the name of the Chargers coach.
Yes.
It just came to my mind. All right. So is that good?
Hold on one second.
No problem.
Rob in our chat is saying Sean Mannion, I'm trying to pronounce it, Mannion, could get looks at starting jobs next year.
Yeah, that's possible. That's the kid I was talking about, Sean Mannion. It's him and Taylor. He's one of the
Okay, the guy you couldn't think of.
No. He's the backup quarterback for the Rams, right? Mannion?
I think. Let me Google it.
Yeah, he's the backup for the Rams.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know nothing about him really because he hasn't really ever played.
Yeah, maybe he's looked really good in backup duty. Yeah, he says it's the Rams backup.
Yeah, another guy I think too that we've seen. If the Eagles happen to keep Foles, which I'm not saying that Foles is going anywhere. I still think Foles ends up back here. I think the Eagles give him a good 3-year guaranteed contract with money that works for both sides and gives him some security here. And Nate Sudfeld is a kid that I think a lot of teams might take a look at because Sudfeld is coming from that coaching and that offense and everything now where he's been under Wentz and Foles for the last 2 years. So he's another guy, I think. I think a team like Denver or somebody might end up taking a look at Sudfeld and maybe giving him a shot.
Or maybe like someone like Jacksonville.
Jacksonville would be a good team to do it as well. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have the Patriots too. I think it'll be too much for Rivers on the road.
Yeah.
All right. And last but certainly not least, we have the Eagles going to play the Saints in the Dome.
Yeah, Rob just said it's not happening, Rob. It will not happen. People keep talking about it. He's talking about the Eagles being open to trading Wentz. It's not going to happen. There's no way. The Eagles are not going to take calls on Wentz. It's 0% chance Carson Wentz gets moved.
I'll say this. I would definitely, and this is my honest opinion, if Foles did what he did last year again, you would have to at least think about it.
I still wouldn't, man. Foles is turning 30 years old. Carson Wentz is 25 years old. It's not going to happen. The problem with this whole thing is, and it kind of annoys me, is there's a quarterback controversy everywhere but in the Eagles locker room. Like, Foles knows that he wants to be here. Foles has no problem not playing when Wentz is healthy. So there's never been any talk other than by, media and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you listen to Foles tells you he likes driving down 95 and seeing the stadium. He likes having his family and his home here. He likes wearing the Eagles uniform. But he always finishes with saying this is Carson Wentz's team.
Yep. That being said, I'm taking the Saints in this game.
Well, yeah. I mean, what are they, like 9.5-point favorites right now or something? It's not good. I like
this team, but I don't know if they could climb this mountain.
Yeah, that's exactly that. You just put that in a very good way. Beating a team like the Bears is a hill. Beating a team like the Saints in New Orleans is a mountain, and We'll see.
Considering they haven't lost at home in the postseason since 1992.
To the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, when Rich Kotite was coaching.
Yep, to the Philadelphia Eagles. Lance, he's talking about Foles missing out on his bonus. Foles is getting his bonus. The Eagles are giving it to him.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, they've already said that.
That was reported last week. Mm-hmm. Which is a cool thing to do. Mm-hmm. Because some teams wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but they said the Eagles they've already started on a way to compensate him for losing his bonus.
All right, who do you have in this game?
Oh, the Saints. I'm taking the Saints.
That's the easiest way you could say it.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest with you, I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to say this clear as can be. I think the Saints are going to win this football game. As much as I want the Eagles to win, as much as I think that they're a good team, I just don't think they're built deep enough to beat this Saints football team. I don't think they have a deep enough secondary at this point. Like, when you beat a team like the Bears do not have nearly the weapons that the Saints do. The Saints can run two good running backs at you. The Saints have, almost like the Patriots, they can bring a guy off the street and he'll catch 100 yards for them. And that has a lot to do with Drew Brees. You pointed it out, and I've seen few people point out, if the Eagles can get pressure up the middle with Cox, it obviously could cut off a lot of Brees' looks because he loves that over the middle type of look. And if you put pressure in his face, being that he's only like 5'10",
make him uncomfortable.
Yeah. And another thing a lot of people need to understand is if the Eagles lose this football game, of course they're expected to. They probably should. Well, they definitely should lose it because the Saints are the better team. But it's not like Rob's saying that the clock's striking midnight. Yeah, that's fine to say, but the clock's really not striking midnight on the Eagles because they're still built to win. They still have a lot of young, good players at a lot of positions. Like, if you look through their roster, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, right? There's weapons right there. Sproles is probably going to come back now. Smallwood's making himself look like a legitimate player in the offense. They're going to have a quarterback no matter what. Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Jason Kelsey, Isaac Seumalo are all four coming back on the offensive line. Probably Peters, who knows? The way he's playing right now, he might come back. If you flip over on defense, they still have a lot of good defense left,
It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, if the season ends, it ends on a high note for them, in my opinion, because they shouldn't be where they are.
No, I agree with you. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up today.
Yeah, it got a little warm today, right?
Yeah.
Like warmer?
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Before we get out of here,
yeah, go ahead.
On Teddy Bridgewater. Rob is saying he's going to get a lot of looks.
Yeah, I think Bridgewater will get some looks. I honestly don't think he'll ever be a successful starting quarterback in the NFL. That's just my opinion. I could be off,
I wonder if Peyton and them told him, like, if he stays, they would basically give him the keys when Brees was done.
That's possible. I honestly think they should look at drafting a guy now, like this year coming up.
They can't. I think they should have a first-round pick.
No. You don't have to get a quarterback in the first round. They can look.
Yeah, considering this year's draft class and the quarterbacks are very
I don't know. I think there's some deep cuts there, if you know what I mean. Like, I think there's a couple guys here and there that are going to get third round looks that are good quarterbacks.
I know you keep hearing about the Ohio State guy, but I'm leery because I couldn't tell you a good quarterback that came out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're talking about what's his name? Haskins, right?
Yeah. Every mock I've seen him going in the top 6.
Yeah, I think he ends up in New York with the Giants. I think that's going to be their.
I hope so.
I think that's going to be their guy that they're going to end up snagging. I haven't really looked at the draft a lot yet because it's still we're still in season, but I think
No, I
Haskins.
just I'll glance here and there.
I think the dude from Missouri will be a guy that might go mid to late first round.
I see him
Drew
going top
Drew Lock.
10.
Yeah, he shouldn't. He should. If he goes that high, there's going to be a disappointment from his team. But there's other guys out there like Daniel Jones from Duke is a guy I read about.
Yes,
who
I've read a
probably
lot
will,
about him. I've seen him going in the first round.
Yeah, I think I think he might be a stretch going in the first round. I think he should go like I'll say like 35 to 45 would be, so second round, early to mid second round was where I would put him, but there might be a team that kind of
jumps the gun.
Up. Yeah, that could move up in the second or could move up into the end of the first. The Saints.
I agree with you, Rob. He said he thinks a lot of teams will inquire about Derek Carr.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have a few minutes. You want to keep talking about this? It's up to you.
I got time.
I think Carr's going to stick in Oakland. One of the main reasons I think is because Mayock really liked him during the lead into the draft. Like Mike Mayock was very like positive when it came to Carr. I think Mayock even said he would have drafted him in the top 10, right? Isn't that? I was just reading something about that the other day.
Yeah. Oh, Drew Lock is the kid's name you're thinking of from Missouri.
Yeah, I said his name.
Oh, okay. Rob's saying he might be the best quarterback of the bunch.
Yeah, he's probably the best natural quarterback out of this group. I won't deny that at all. I think I think Haskins is raw. I think he has more talent, Haskins, but I don't think he's NFL ready as Locke is.
Okay, that's interesting.
Did
we bring up real quick about Bruce Arians?
Yeah, about him with the Tampa job.
And it sounds like Bowles is going to be his DC.
That's cool. I just saw Kevin Stefanski is getting a second interview with the Browns as their head coach.
Yeah, they think he's getting very serious consideration.
Yeah, he was the guy who took over the play calling for the Vikings down the stretch there.
Here's another real quick interesting one before we get out of here. Rappaport is reporting that the Cardinals are very interested in the OC from USC.
The OC from US, that would be
Kingsbury?
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah. He's an interesting guy. He's one of those guys that I kind of like. Like when you think of a guy who is younger, who probably has a better grasp of the way the NFL and everything is going.
Yeah.
He would have that better grasp of it. So, but we'll see. I think he'd be a good hire, to be honest with you. I kind of like him.
Isn't he the one that literally just got hired too?
Yeah, he's a younger guy. He was a quarterback in college, like not that long ago. He's 39, so that's not that young, but it's still. I mean, he's not in his 60s. Yeah, he's still not in his 60s like most coaches. Like he's in our age group, so yeah. I would say that's young for a head coach.
Absolutely, because McVay's around that age or maybe a little older.
I think McVay's like 34, right?
He's pretty young.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he was Texas Tech's head coach. Did pretty well down there, Kingsbury, and ended up with USC now. Like this year was his first year. So I don't know if
I'm curious if they bring him in, if Rosen could thrive in the air raid scheme.
Yeah. McVay's 32, by the way.
Holy shit.
So he was about 30 years old when he got that job.
That's crazy.
When he was hired and everything. That's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy, man. He's had 2 really good coaching years. I think Saturday night is going to give you a good idea of how he is now, because they didn't show up for the playoffs last year.
No, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that stuff. And we'll see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.